Welcome to the Chiefs Way. Now mash that subscribe button or drop it, give me 50!
Before we get started, I want to clarify these two products. I have two products here. This is the Performax Transfer Pump from Menards, which I plan on using for like water only. And this is the Pittsburgh Transfer Pump from Harbor Freight that I plan on using for, gasoline, because it does call it out. This one specifically says not for flammable liquids. So Performax for water, because it's clear, and then the red one for gasoline or other items. I'm only showing this Performax in the video, so I'll be talking about gasoline, but when you hear me say gasoline, no, I'm talking about the the Pittsburgh pump from Harbor Freight. Okay, today we're doing a review of this Performax transfer pump. I had gotten this from Menards for like $7.99. Okay, but they also, PT Performance Tools has this exact same pump. Okay, and Harbor Freight has one that's like 90% similar. The only difference is this has like a quick disconnect to get the hoses in and out, and the one from Harbor Freight has like a plug thing that goes over it that helps hold these in. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. Okay, this is used for transferring fluids, anything that's a light viscosity, kind of like a lighter oil, gasoline, water, any of your your fluids under your hood. It can also be used as a air pump. This black hose, okay, we hooked the air connector to it, and this red plug is for like beach balls and air mattresses and stuff, and this other one is used for the needle is used for footballs and and soccer balls and basketballs and stuff like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up and get everything out and put it together. What we're going to do today is we're going to transfer water from this dehumidifier reservoir that's full into these empty water containers that we're going to use to water our garden and plants. Okay, but the reason I have multiple of these is I have a couple for water and a couple for gasoline and other petroleum fluids, because in a case of an emergency where the power might be out and the grid's down for a longer period of time, you'll probably be getting your water from some kind of municipal water distribution place, and you go there with like a 5-gallon bucket or a 5-gallon water container and fill it up with water. But then it's hard to pour those into smaller containers, so you would use your transfer pumps to transfer that water into smaller containers for consumption around the house. And also, if the power's out for a long time, it's really important to keep your cars full of gas at all times. When it gets down about half, just fill up your tank, because that's stored fuel that you might need in an emergency. So if the power's out for a long time and you're running low on your gasoline you got for your generators, you could always use the transfer pump that you've designated for gasoline to pump the gas out of your extra vehicles, okay, and into your gas container so you can run your generator longer. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up, and I'll show you how you put together, and then we'll start pumping some water. All right, we have everything out of our container. Okay, this black hose and these fittings here are for the air pump, which we don't need right now, so we'll set those aside. Okay, we have our instruction manual. Okay, it tells us how to put it together and use it, so we're just going to set that aside for now. And so we're just going to worry about the two clear hoses for the fluids. So any kink in there from being in the package, I'm going to work out. Okay, there's one on either one. Going to press on them and work it out. Okay, and the nice thing about this pump is it has a quick disconnect on the inside. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to push this in there. Okay, and now it won't come out unless I push in this white outer button. Then I can remove it when I'm done. Pretty nice. So we'll plug it in again, push it in as far as it goes. Now it's seated in there, very nice, and it won't come out. But if I push this in, then I can pull it right on out. Okay, so let's get them both in there. Okay, this one's got another nice kink in it, so let's squeeze on it and work it out again. Okay, so the way this goes is the water comes in the top, okay, comes in the top and goes out the bottom. Okay, so let's get our first container. Okay, our first container, and I'm going to put this down into our water reservoir, and then I'm going to put this down into our bottle. Okay, and now get this to stand up here. Once it gets some water in it, it'll stand up. I'll just start pumping. Okay. And it's got to work all the air out. Okay, we start to see we're getting some water through. Once we get all the air out, it's really going to work pretty good. Okay. Get out of the way so you can see that water going in there. And there's still some air bubbles in there, but it's moving along pretty good. We're transferring this water pretty easily. All right, so let's finish up this one, and then I'll finish emptying this container off camera, because you don't need to see me just pumping water for 10 minutes. But I mean, this is going pretty good. It'll be a good workout for you. Up. Put this down so make sure it's in the bottom. Find a different way in. There we go. Got to make sure it doesn't come out of the water. So okay, we're pumping that air through. And look at that, we're right up to the top. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out into the air. And I'm just going to push through what was left of the water without overflowing this jar. Oop, got a little water on the floor. And close it up. Now we got plenty of nice water to water our garden and plants with. So I'm going to go ahead and finish emptying this into the containers, and I'll come back and we'll switch it over for air, and we'll see if we can pump up some kind of ball. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we're all done transferring that, that water. So we got 1 full gallon and, a little more than 3/4 in this one out of this container that we can use in the garden. So now what I'm going to do with my pump is I'm going to, pull in on the white top, disconnect my hoses, and I'm going to hang these hoses so that they, dry out, because we don't want any, mold or anything to form into them. Okay. Now I'm just gonna, on the pump, just keep pumping and get as much loose water out as I can. Okay. And it looks like I'm getting most. I don't see any drops in there, so we're getting most of the water out of there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it with the plunger like right in the middle, and I'm going to let it just sit out, because that way the air can come through either side, and when it dries, that water can evaporate out from either side of this, and once it's dry, we can put it away for storage. So again, we're going to leave the pump so that the plunger is right in the middle so we can store it. Okay, one quick note on maintenance. If you use these for gasolines or oils or something, any residue that's in here will eat away at the O-ring right here, and your pump will work. It won't work at all, or it'll just be less effective. So what you want to do is, if you use this for gasolines, when you're done with the hoses still attached, you know, get a warm, jug full of soapy warm water, and just pump that soapy warm water through your pump, and the dishwashing liquid will help break down those oils and clean them out of here, so it doesn't ruin your O-rings or your pumps. And then if you got some like a little mineral oil or something, you could always put a little dot on the top here so it gets down in there, and then just operate it to clean up and keep your O-ring lubricated. Okay, but that was only for fuels. If you're just using it for water, you just want to make sure that the plunger's in the center and just let it dry. Hey, just on a quick note, it does unscrew and come apart to dry out, and if you put these hoses in the sun, that they soften up and those kinks come right out. Okay, now we're going to attempt to blow up this old soccer ball. You can see that there's it's a little low on air because I can press it in with my thumbs. So we're going to take our pump, and since air will go in the top and out the bottom, we'll put our black hose on the bottom. Okay. And now we're going to open up our accessories kit. Yeah, I'll just rip it open. Okay, I'm going to put the nozzle end in on this end. Holy smokes, that's pretty hard. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this off camera, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back. So what you're going to find is, if you look at this, it's a real thick hose, and it has a real small area through the middle. That's to increase the air pressure so you can blow things up. So, I mean, this was just a little tough going in, but with two hands, you can get it in there. So let's go ahead and put it in the back of our pump. Okay, in the bottom. Now we're going to put in our needle for our ball. And we're going to put it in. And now let's see if we can pump it up with air. Yeah, it's taking air. And it's getting harder. It's actually a pretty darn good air pump. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect it. Pull it out of there. And now you can see, I squeezed it a little bit, but I put a lot more air in there. And this ball is playable now. Okay, well, let's get this taken apart, and then we'll wrap up this video. So, what I think about this Performax transfer pump? I think it's great. I mean, it seems like it's pretty sturdy and a pretty nice product, and will last a long time as long as you take care of it. And make sure you have multiples of them. You may have 2 for water and 2 for fuels, because you got to live under the idea that 2 equals 1 and 1 equals none. If you have 2 of something and you lose or break one, you still got 1 left. But if you have 1 of something and you lose or break it, you got none. So remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Alright, so if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and solar on. We'll see you the next time.